All right, welcome, messengers. This is a special week. This is the Insider Interview Showcase. I'm going to be introducing people right inside of our community who are doing amazing things. Some of them are blogging, some are podcasting, some are doing YouTube videos. They are all building something around their message. If you have a message to share, if you have a story to tell, this is the community. This is where you want to be. And I think a lot of times what happens is people say, well, Jonathan, you've been doing this 10, 11 years. This is easy for you. Does this work for other people? And the answer is yes. In fact, I'm going to be introducing another guest interview in just a second. And all week long, probably somewhere around 2 a day, we're going to be coming live to you guys. Some of you might be right now on YouTube. Welcome. Maybe you're watching in one of our Facebook groups or Facebook pages. Welcome. In fact, let me know that you're here. Just put your first name, where you're watching from. That way I know that you're watching because I can see that we've got people on. So let us know that you're here. The only way I know is when you put in a comment and let us know that your name is there so I can say hello to you. So I'm really excited to do this, and here's why. People in the Insider program, and if you don't know what Insider is my private mastermind where me and my team of coaches get more personally involved in helping people to build their business and share their message. And we have people at all different levels in Insider. There's people who come into the program, try to figure out what their message is. That's okay. We have people trying to get their website launched. We have other people who are further along and they're trying to scale their businesses. And so I thought it would be great because I hear these stories all the time. I want to be sharing with you these amazing stories. And these are just going to be conversations with a friend. And you're going to be able to learn something because you're going to hear from other people who are maybe exactly where you are right now in your journey, online business journey, and you can learn something from them. Maybe it's a tool. Maybe it's a mindset shift. Maybe it's an idea of how you could be more productive, right? You might be just one idea away from a breakthrough. So that's why I want to just encourage you as much as possible to tune into these interviews. We're going to keep them around 30 minutes. And I hope that they will be impactful and encouraging to you that, you know what, if these people can get started, I can do this too. So in our last interview, we interviewed Marissa Shadrick. So I'd encourage you to go and watch that interview. And today I'm really excited to bring on Fernando, and I'm going to let him introduce himself in just a second. But I just want you to hear his story, a little bit of his journey, and who he's serving, who he's helping, and also allow it to be an encouragement to you. So again, we are doing this interview showcase, talking about real people, real results, people in the trenches, figure this stuff out. And let me just say, before I jump in and bring Fernando on, I think what you'll be encouraged by is if you have felt like, you know what, I don't know how to do this stuff. All this technology challenges, setting up a website, doing this, doing that. I don't know how to do any of this. Most of our insiders have felt the exact same way. And so you can be encouraged by hearing their stories of pushing past the fear, the unknown, the roadblocks to getting their message out there. So with that, Fernando, are you here?
I am here. Happy to be here. Hi, Jonathan.
I'm so glad that you are with us today. So let's start really just by letting people know where you're from and who your audience is or the business that you're working on.
Sure. So I'm from Argentina. We're in the southern edge of South America, and my business or my online presence is basically right now through a blog. And what I do is I basically share my experience learning all that is productivity or habit building or goal setting, things that I have struggled with throughout my life or through many years in my life. And I finally started. I love reading, so I started reading a lot of books related to these subjects. and I learned a lot. And although I'm still struggling, it's not that I've become an expert on it. I am much more knowledgeable than I used to be. And what I want to do is basically share my experience, share my journey, and see if somebody can feel or can get some good ideas, or some good something good from that.
I love that because you know what? We are kindred spirits. I have always had a passion and interest in productivity, time management, being productive. And so I know we've probably read a lot of the same books. We've learned a lot of the same things. And so I love it because I think it's such a key because for a lot of people, they may have a message or something to share. Maybe they have a story to tell or a message to
Yeah.
share. But what's standing in their way is the daily grind of habit formation, productivity, taking action, and things like that. And so I'm sure we'll probably get into a little bit of that. But how did you become interested in starting something online? Do you remember, if you were to trace your story back a little bit, what prompted you to get interested? Maybe you can remember. I don't know.
Sure. At some point in my life, I used to live in the US, and that's where actually I met you maybe like 10 years ago when you were still, or 8 years ago. Um, and I love the idea of doing something online, writing something. I always like I'm not, I don't consider myself a writer, but I love writing. I love leading or writing stuff. And when I found your blogging your passion website, I thought, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that I'm passionate about, and I wanted maybe to do that, to write something. So I did that for a couple of years. Then I returned home. It's not, I didn't have a lot of time, but I still had that idea of continuing doing this blog or writing about stuff that I learned online. Um, and last year, basically, when COVID struck and I was left at home, I suddenly found myself with 3 extra hours that I had during the day. I used to have this long commute back work, going to work. So when I started working from home, I realized I had all this time that I could spend with my family, but I could also work on other things beside my job and my passions. So going back to what I had, or what I'd started some maybe 8, 10 years ago. So that's why I got back into the kind of riding wagon, and basically launched again.
Yes. So what I have seen is exactly what you've described. I think a lot of people are there right now. And you've got two choices, right? For some people, some people are not going back to a traditional work setting. Like it's forever changed. And I know there's many companies. I've got a lot of my friends and even family members who used to do a 30-minute commute to a office building, and somewhat since these companies have figured out how they can run this, because they've been forced to figure out how they can run their operation virtually or have people work from their homes, many of them are not going back. And so
Mhm.
it provides this space of like what I used to, for some people, they used to have an hour commute every day. And then you take into the effect how much wasted time happens when you go to a physical location, right? As opposed to being at home and getting a work done and not having all the distractions that sometimes we can have um, in a physical setting. And what that's done is it's caused people to evaluate and get a little bit of time back and be like, what do I do with that time? And so I love that you, as a productive person, thought, maybe I can invest this into growing something that I'm passionate about, which is really, really awesome. What were some of your biggest challenges when you first got started?
Well, I think first off, I'm not a tech savvy person. So my biggest challenge was basically figuring out everything that I needed to do in order to get this thing going. And that's something that I really enjoyed, or I really took advantage from the insiders group. I mean, from all the knowledge that is in the program, plus everybody else that's very willing and eager to help. So that one of the biggest challenges was that. So trying to get all the tech part going on, and the other thing is trying. I think building or trying to believe in myself, and being somebody that maybe I didn't think that I had the expertise or the knowledge to share with somebody, but I really did have some knowledge that I had to. So I was very hesitant because I didn't know if I would be able, or if somebody else would be um, happy to be to hear what I was sharing. So those basically were, I think, the two biggest kind of obstacles or hesitations that I had before starting.
I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it because that's what a lot of people struggle with. Those two things are the biggest things they struggle with. It's number one, technology. They're just overwhelmed by like, how do I figure out all this stuff that I don't know how to do? And number two, it's just believing they have value, that they have something to share. And I think an example that I like to talk about a lot is a friend of mine, Bob Loddick, who started a personal finance blog in 2007. So he got started about 2 years before me, but he was one of my first blogger friends. And today, his blog is unbelievably successful. He just landed a book deal. He's been on TV channels interviewing. I mean, he's got millions of people who visit his blog and his website. And you know what? He could have easily said, and this is the point, back in 2007, he could have said, you know what? I'm not a Dave Ramsey. Like Dave Ramsey is already the personal finance guru, and I can never be like him. And so, what do I have to share? I don't know that I have anything to offer. There's already so many voices out there on personal finance. There's Dave Ramsey, there's Susie Orman, there's, what's his David Bach from one of his books. There's all of these personal finance gurus. So who am I? That's what he could have said. But today he's got a published book deal, an amazing blog. He's been working full time for the last decade. And the whole point of this is there is plenty of room for all of us. There are so many people out there to reach out to that your message does matter. And what you have to say might resonate with someone more than one of the gurus. And so I think you nailed it, Fernando. I love that. So you talked a little bit about joining Insider. And by the way, Fernando is in our Insider program, which is a private mentoring program that we run to give you the accountability, the support, the coaching, the help that you need. And so I guess my first question is, before deciding to enroll in Insider, what was the single biggest skepticism or hesitation you had before jumping in?
Well, I think it's what I've said before. I didn't know if what I was writing about was just a maybe something that I did because I liked to do it, but it wasn't a business, or nothing could come out, or nothing business like would come out of it. So was it just a hobby, or was it really something that I could bring, could become a business at one point? And it was, I think, one of the biggest kind of obstacles, or biggest hesitations was that. But I started talking and figuring out things that I could do, that could maybe slowly, and this is something that it's not going to happen from one day to the other, but slowly build into something that resembles or becomes a business, something that in some future time I can do as maybe others have done. So right now I'm doing that. I believe I that hesitation at least has been erased. It has been fantastic. The level of support that I received was, or is, continues to be fantastic. and they made me, or I really came to believe in myself and the message that I was delivering, at least sharing with others. So that hesitation was gone, but it was something that I had to think about before joining in.
Yes. And I think you summed it up well. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, okay, I have a passion for this, but can this be a business? Can I actually do something with this? And I know that's where a lot of people are. And the answer is yes, but you can't do it alone. It's
Mm.
really difficult to do this whole thing on your own. And I think being in a community kind of lifts the lid a little bit on your potential. You start seeing other people doing things, and you're like, hey, they're doing it. I could do this. And that's where that community piece makes it a positive peer pressure to move forward and get things done. And I think that's what I most enjoy about Insiders, seeing just the amazing things people are doing in the program. Um, so, can you give an example of an aha moment or maybe something you've been able to accomplish now that you've been an insider that's been like something to celebrate? Something that's been a little bit of a breakthrough for you.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for me, it was, or going back a little bit, I mean, one of the things that when I started this was saying, okay, I will be blogging, I will be sharing my experience, and we'll see what happens. But one of the great things that I found was learning about all these different strategies, or things that you can do or work on that would even help you better get your message out. So help you get more of that message out, or reach out to more people. So one of the things that which was following one of those boot camps that we did, and building on my first lead magnet, trying
Mm.
to promote a kind of a special offer that I could give to somebody and whose job, the only thing that they needed to do was share their email address, and they would get this offer. That was fantastic for me, just getting the first few email addresses that were not myself or my family members, so people that I didn't know, people from all over the world that were eager and were open to hearing what I wanted to say. That was something special, because it made me realize that, yeah, I mean, there's 7 billion people out there, and there are people that are eager or open to hearing, or maybe that are going through or struggling with things that are similar to what I've struggled with, and that can definitely maybe uh, find what I'm saying helpful to them.
Yes. In fact, we're going to be talking about in just a little bit how, if you're watching right now, you can get a hold of this resource that Fernando's put together purely on productivity and habit formation. So we'll talk about that coming up very soon. So don't go anywhere. So what if somebody's on the fence? They're like, you know what? They're in our community. They've been following along. They've maybe even heard that I have some type of an insider program for people who are a little bit more committed or serious about getting involved, and maybe they're tired and frustrated of all the learning they're doing with no action, and they're maybe a little bit of a at a place of like, I know I need to do something different, but they're on the fence, quite frankly. Maybe they're a lot like where you were before you joined. What would you say to somebody who is thinking about enrolling in the insider program, but they're just on the fence?
Well, I mean, I would say jump in. If you're eager, you think that you have something to give, even though right now it's very blurry and you don't have a very good idea of what that is, or how you might be able to share that, or through which platform. I would say, I mean, jump in the first, at least try it out for 1 year. I know that the investment will pay off in the end, because there is so much to do, so many different avenues to build on. So many different strategies that you can follow, so many um, things that you can do, and you will realize that in the end, this and this is something that, again, it's going to happen slowly. It's not going to happen from one day to the other till the next. But you're going to find yourself that you in the maybe 6 months from now, 7 months from now, you have this mailing list which grew from 0 to 100 or 1,000, or the number that happens to be. And you have something that you built on your own, with the help of the different of everybody else in the program, of course. But I think that it's a worthwhile investment. It's a very good program, and it's a program that you will find that you are never alone. That you have others that are in similar situation as yourself, and others that are very knowledgeable in different aspects of this business, and you can learn a lot from them. Everybody is eager and open to helping each other. Um, so I would say jump in. I would say it is a worthwhile investment for you as a person, for you, and to become or start a business, or an online platform, as you have never done before. So
Awesome. Well said. And I think that's what a lot of people are wondering. They're like, well, before I get involved in something like that, I have to be like at a certain level, or I need to be further along, or I need to have everything figured out first before I jump into that. And what I would say to that is, we have people jump in and they quite frankly don't even know exactly who their audience is. They're still trying to nail it down. And that's where we're going to help you. Or if you're further along, we have mastermind groups for those that need a little bit more advanced help. And that's the beauty of, I think, the program and the coaches that we have, is that we have thought through how to help you at whatever level that you are. So awesome. Is there anything else that you're hoping to share or talk about, or something to add that we haven't talked about yet?
um, I no, I mean, it's been, for me, it's been 7 or 8 months working with the Insiders program, and from me, it was like you said, Jonathan. I came into this with an idea of what I wanted to do, but I didn't know exactly what that was, and the one thing that I'm an avid, as I mentioned, I'm an avid reader, but I love learning. So I was going through a lot of those videos that you have, or that are already available there in Insiders, and I learned so many things for me, which made me realize that there is so many things that I can do. And I'm still working on it. This beginning of this year was a little slow, but I do have things on my pipeline that I will be uh, slowly pulling or putting out there. So I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I think that this year is going to be great. And I mean, I don't have any other else or anything else maybe to say right now.
Yeah, and I think what I'm most excited about is, I remember you coming in the program and you had kind of these different ideas, different things, different thoughts about what you could do. And I know going through that Discover Your Message program
Mhm.
really started to bubble up from the surface that productivity is something you were really passionate about, habit formation, productivity, helping people in that arena. And so now it's cool to and awesome to see that, that now that you've got that focus, sky's the limit this year, like what you could do with that. And we're going to be here to support you all along the way. And I guess that's kind of a good segue to this next question. What's next for you? Is there an idea that you have, or something that you are going to be working on this year, something that you would love to accomplish with your business?
Yeah, sure. So I have three, basically three things in the pipeline that I want to finalize. The first thing is having this first online program or online product that I can get out, which I'm still working on. I'm building through, or after listening through the different meetings in the Market Your Message Academy. So I'm going through all of that information and I'm slowly building that. So I'm hoping to have that ready by the end of March. In for April, I'm hoping to have, and this is something that I wanted to have earlier, but because of a slow start, I had to kind of delay. I already have my domain for the Get Focused Summit, so that's something that I want to get done by maybe April or in this second quarter. And the other thing is, I mean, besides blogging, I had already bought a lot of the equipment to start on doing some podcast. So I would like to do that, though it's still unclear when I would start building on that. But at least for the next couple of months, I have a lot of things in my plate, and I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. I mean, hearing about the product that you're working on, so you have like a course or something to sell. The summit, I love Get Focused Summit. I mean, that's clear. So one of the things with Insider, we do these quarterly boot camps, which is we take a Saturday and we do a deep dive on a particular topic for a few hours, and I do a little bit of teaching and training. Then we divide up into virtual mastermind groups and in Zoom rooms where you're batting around the ideas and applying it. And coming up, our Insider only boot camp is going to be on virtual summits, which is a terrific way to build and grow your email list. The last summit I did, we picked up like 6,500 email addresses. And simply what you do is you interview a bunch of experts on your topic, and then they all promote the virtual summit. It's free to attend. All that people have to do is put in an email address. And what happens is all these influencers who already have people on their email list promote their interview. And so people on their list put in their email address, and that's how you build your list. And so I'm really excited, Fernando, about that, because it's like I see the product having something to sell, right? That's awesome. Building that list as well. And so you just got a lot of great things going for you. And of course, podcast as well. Awesome. Well, where can people connect with you online? I know you've put together a resource, and if you don't have the link, we can plug it in the email that I'm going to send out in a little bit, or we can put it in the comments. But either way, if you know what the link is, you can share it, or just share the resource, and we'll figure out a way to get it out to people.
Sure. So my website is fernandovh.com. So I didn't want to put the whole last name because it's already complicated, and I wanted to shorten it. So it's fernandovh.com. And this lead magnet, or this basic product, not a product, but this offer that I have, is basically fernandovh.com /7 steps. So it's a 7-step guide to building habit that sticks. So there are 7 steps that anybody can follow, and that might help them build on their habit, and making a new habit for them, or breaking an old habit that they have. That's something that will stick with them. So it's not something that will wane away after some time.
Awesome. So fernandovh.com / is it 7, the number 7 steps?
Correct.
There you go. And so if you're watching this right now and you're like, I need better habits. Like I said, right before I brought Fernando on, the reason you should tune into each of these interviews is because you might be one idea away from a breakthrough. And there just might be one simple idea that Fernando shares in that resource that he's put together that could be a breakthrough for you, quite frankly. And so definitely go check that out. Awesome. Fernando, thanks for being here and sharing a little bit of your story, and just really excited about what you've got coming up this year.
Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. So did you guys enjoy that story? I hope that you did. Fernando is doing some amazing things. And like I said before, he is in our insider program. And what we're doing is all week long, I'm sharing stories of people who are right here in our community. These are real people, just like you, who have taken the step, the courage to move forward despite all the technology challenges or despite that feeling that they're not a good enough or they're not an expert, and they're just stepping forward and saying, I want to make a difference in somebody's life. I want to start a message-based business. And so if that's you right now, if that's what's tugging at your heart, like, I need to get serious about this. I've been thinking about this way too long. I want to step up my level of commitment. Then this week and next week only, we are opening up more spots for Insider. We've added some more coaches, and we're going to be forming new mastermind groups, additional mastermind groups. And we would love for you to come join our amazing private community. And you'll get me as a mentor. You'll also get my team of coaches that are qualified in different things. Some of them have the technical expertise to help you. Some are copywriters. Some are just strategy based coaches that can help you. And if you're like, what exactly is Insider? Well, here's the 4 pillars inside of our community. Number 1 is situation-driven mentoring. I do regular Q&A calls with the Insider program, and you can come and have me mentor your specific thing that you're trying to figure out. 2, we do systems-driven mentoring. We have a level up roadmap and courses designed for you to go through based on what level you're at. Whether you're at the discovery level, you're trying to launch your website, or you're trying to grow your blog or your podcast or your YouTube channel, we have designated courses for that. Number 3, we have a community-driven mentoring that goes on. So we divide everybody up that comes into the program into a mastermind group with one of my coaches so that you can have a regular help and feedback in a smaller setting, all done virtual online. And then finally, one of the beautiful bonuses is you get access to all of my courses. Just like Fernando was talking about Market Your Message Academy, all of the insiders get access to Market Your Message Academy. So purely by being an insider, you get access to everything I have ever created. There's over 20, 30 courses inside the members portal in just about every topic that you can imagine. So that's a little bit about that. If you're just even a little bit curious, this is what I would tell you to do. Go apply. That's your first step. Just go to jmill, that's just my name short, to make it a quick and easy link to remember, jmill.biz/insider. If you go to jmill.biz/insider, all we ask is that you put down $100 refundable deposit. And what that is going to do is secure a time to talk with us and tell us a little bit about your business. We can share with you any questions that you might have about Insider and what it's about. And then if it's a good fit and you're ready to move forward, we'll apply that $100 to the enrollment to actually enroll into Insider. If you choose that it's not for you, we'll refund your money. It's that simple. So you have nothing to lose, everything to gain, having a conversation with us about this Insider mentoring program. All right, so that's it for now. Tonight, I'll be coming back online with you at 7 o'clock Eastern for another awesome interview of another insider in our community. So be on the lookout for that. If you're watching over on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, also the notification bell. That way you get notified when I go live. If you're over on Facebook, just like the page, like the post, and we'll let you know when we go live as well. So that's it. You guys have an awesome day. We'll see you back here tonight, 7 o'clock for another interview showcase. See you then. Bye-bye.